Greetings, YouTubers. New video coming out. This one was something I actually thought about doing after a successful run with a panel I had done at a convention in Kansas City, and I think it'd make an interesting YouTube video. Granted, it's better to do it with a live audience, so let's see how it works with doing it from the end of just doing YouTube. No audience, just me and my thoughts. All right, so at this convention in KC, it was called GTX. Came up with a new panel idea that I thought was something that would go over well with conventions, especially with gamers, since this was a gaming-focused convention. But I decided to do a panel called "Gaming What the What the Yeah, exactly. So WTF was a very good panel. It went over well. So let's dive into it and talk about gaming what WTF. So lately, gaming has evolved into something a lot different than what at least I remember it as a child. I mean, it's come a long way. So we'll start about the more current ones and work our way back through history and kind of go through moments in time where you just have to scratch your head and go, what? Why? That didn't even make sense. It's not even relevant. But modern times, we've been seeing a lot of WTF moments in gaming. The big one is what is called alpha building. It's where you put a broken game out on the market and sell to people as what is called early access. That is definitely a WTF moment. As a designer, I find that insulting. It basically says that you consumers are dumb enough to basically buy anything, and that's pretty much what the studio is saying. Here's a broken game, play it. The save points may not work, weapons may be unbalanced, characters may be power level to a point where they're just unacceptable. It's just an unbalanced and it's a broken game. So WTF moment for anything that is an alpha or pre-build that is viable by any means on the market. Next thing would be microtransactions that are just lame as hell. So if I can get a certain weapon in a game while playing it, and the only difference between the market weapon that I could get from the store versus what is dropped in game are only different by skin or texture mapping, that's just stupid. That's pointless. Why even put that on the market? I mean, make it more reasonable where the stats are better, the range is better. I mean, give a little initiative to the players to even buy it in the first place. I know a lot of studios are guilty of it, but they do it anyway. Another moment would be, and as much as I hate to say this because I've been a fan of Ed Boon's Mortal Kombat since day one, this whole $25 character pack thing. I mean, I could buy the game used for about $20 from a pawn store, but the character pack is worth more than the game itself. Not to mention the easy fatalities. You can unlock all the unlockables in the crypt. I mean, that's just pure money bullshit. Excuse my language, but really, who in the world would actually be dumb enough to buy a cheap fatality when if you pause the game, go in the menu, it shows you how to do the fatality. They're not that complex. And to unlock all the stuff in the crypt for more than the game's worth? Are you out of your absolute freaking mind? Seriously? So, I mean, those are some moments in recent time. I mean, I could think of plenty on the console side as well, PC side, where we release a PC game that's totally freaking broken. I mean, it's the point where it's unplayable, but yet you're going to charge a full price for it on Steam, and only to recall it a couple months later after enough people bitch about it. What, you don't have a quality assurance team? Get with the program. Quality assurance is where it's at. I know you don't pay these people more than $10 an hour, but at least they can test the game, make sure it's not broken before you launch it. Makes sense to me. So, going with the console side, some moments that are just WTF to me is that the current generation of systems are just unappealing. I mean, I look at my PlayStation 4 up against my PlayStation 3, my Xbox Slim, my Dreamcast. It doesn't matter what system it is. It's just unappealing. It looks like it belongs in an archaic selection of dated technology. Now, granted, the horsepower behind the system is unique, but the design and look of it is just atrocious. Not to mention the Xbox One. Where'd you guys think that one up? Like, hey, how can we make the Xbox even more hideous than it is? Let's go ahead and steal cues from the original Xbox. Let's make it just as heavy and just as unappealing. Good move, Microsoft. And Wii, well, as much as the Wii U and the Wii have a lot of similarities, at least in the way it looks, I gotta admit, at least it's somewhat streamlined, so I don't hate it as much. But definitely, it's one of those things where it's like all the engineering that went into the last generation was more appealing to the eye, minus the slims and the ultra slims. But at least the first generation made things a little interesting. So we go back a little bit in time and we can discuss things from the previous generations, previous games. I think that would be best suited for another video. Definitely to cover that, and due to lack of bandwidth and streaming from the nice DSL provider I have here where I live in Colorado, I have to limit my videos to under 6 minutes just because of that reason. So just real quick recap of what we covered in this video is that the industry needs to stop going with this ploy of the suckering them in by basically saying, oh, look at this DLC, or look at this gun, or look at this item, or what we add as extra content, when in fact, really, all this shit is, like, for especially in the console, all this shit's already on the game itself. It's just a thing that basically unlocks as soon as you pay it, and then it basically creates a script that basically unlocks that character. It's ridiculous how studios get away with this crap. I mean, why don't we go back to the days of making it an achievement that you actually beat a character? It's a hard as balls fight to win, and then you unlock the guy after you beat it. Now that makes a lot of sense, but no, everything's about making more money, pissing the consumer off even more, because nothing worse than just putting out a game that has a good overall opinion in the community and then just milking the hell out of things out of it. Just doesn't make any sense. Anyways, guys, I'm gonna cut the video short because we're getting on that 7-minute mark, but hopefully I'm planning on the next convention I do here in February to actually do a live YouTube stream, still have better bandwidth, and we may just do a live game or a panel or a workshop on design. Who knows? It should be fun, but I will see you guys next time around.